So this is the start of the carnage. Taking the shower out after the drum motor failed and took my shower pump out. Put my bio back on test again just to be sure before I fit it. And then I'll start ripping everything out of the filter house before I start fitting all the new stuff back in again. So currently the only thing running the pond at the moment is that bio there with about 75-80 litres of micro K1 running from a drum, but I need to take that biotank out and set it up temporarily on the pond so I can strip all this pipework out, take the drum out, cut all this pipework out, remove everything so I can get the new biotank in there. Well, there's my new Aqua Eco Varia pumps from Coastal Koi. Everybody likes new pump day, so I'll get that set up on the new bio when I've got it fitted. And this will form the basis of my new filtration. 120,000 running the pond and the other one running the air source heat pump, and probably to a small bio as well. There we go, and I might get a spare controller or some other bits to go with that, because they do. One of the good things about these pumps is you can buy the housing separately, you can buy the motor separately, you can buy the controller separately, and you can buy the impeller separately. So if any point in the future something breaks, and they do with these things unfortunately over time, you can just buy the individual item and replace it. I think the controllers and impellers and that are about £69 or something, and 30 quid for the impeller and the housing each. Those are the ones I decided to go with. Okay, so currently working on the filter house to refit the new bio unit. Shower's gone, bio's gone, chopped out all the pipe work, took the connections off the drum. I'm currently cutting this back now. That's the feed point for the air source heat pump. The return comes back under there, back round and into that too there, and then it balances through this bypass valve, which I'm going to move over to this corner to make space for a 22,000 pump down there, and another one down here. That one this side's going to feed the new bio. Just rip out this bit of timber work, clean it all up, and then see if I can squeeze that bio in here and manage to turn it round without damaging anything. Put an end to this carnage. At the moment what I've done is all the K1 micro that was in that bio I've put into some fine meshed football bags and tied them up to the on there so that the air from the air bars moving water through them, just to keep a bit of bio going in the pond and keep the K1 micro alive until I can get the new bio set up. And then I'll keep it in these bags because it's too fine for that bio until the new media's matured, and then I'll slowly remove this stuff because it's too fine for the new bio and it's a bit of a pain to get it to roll properly. Okay, so finally managed to get the bio in, and by gum that took some getting in, that did. Ended up standing a Black & Decker workmate there to lift it in, sit it on the workmate and then wiggle it around to spin it around and drop it down into position, as there is not a lot of room either side of that to fill the space. I'm just going to get my connect that up with a rubber boot on the bottom. And I've got a rubber boot T coming there to connect into the pipe here, and I'll start piping it up tomorrow. Temporary filters seem to be working okay. Ammonia's under control. It's giving a barely anything of a reading on the test kits, so that's all good. As long as that keeps things ticking over until I can get it all set up again. I'm feeding the fish but very little, probably about 10-15 grams a day, just enough to keep a bit of food going in them, but not enough to create any waste while I'm working on the pond, so I don't want ammonia spikes also contributing to any problems. So this is my old amalgam tube from the DVS amalgam, and this is my new tube from Coastal Koi for 30 something quid. I have a difference in price, and the tubes are absolutely identical, including the connections on the end. So how come one is £80 and this one is 30 something? Strange, but there you go. Okay, so the bags of K1 Micro that I had in the pond while I was moving the filters on are gone, because they're now in the biotank that I've got set up. So there's the biotank in, all plumbed in. There's the pumps, and the pipework. So one pump from the drum down here, 2-inch pipe running up and into the bio, and the other pump comes up to this T, half it splits off and goes to the air source heat pump, then the other side returns back to the pond and is balanced by that bypass valve. And then inside the bio currently there's 100 litres of K1 Plus, and the 2 bags of K1 Micro are in here that are all mature. So I've got them in mesh bags at the moment because they just go straight through the grid that's in there. And this is to set them up in this tank to help get this material to mature, and hopefully it'll start sinking in a few days. It's been in there about a day so far. There's a little bit of it starting to move around a bit, but most of it still needs to sink yet. It needs to get a bit of a biofilm on it to do that, so hopefully that'll start sinking soon. So that's the bio all set up there, and I've tied them bags up on the corner just to stop them floating around and blocking the exit, which would not be good as it's a pump supply. And then the water comes out of the 4-inch connection at the bottom, rises up to this T, lets air out there. I'll put a piece of clear tube in there just so that I can look down inside and see the water level, and then that runs and connects onto the 4-inch gravity return that used to take the water from the shower. I've not really had a problem with ammonia and nitrite when I changed it all over and took the shower out, because I put the bags of K1 Micro in the pond and I had a little bit of an ammonia spike for a few days where it got up to about 1 ppm, and then it's back down to basically undetectable again now with the Hannah checker ultra low range. So there's the pond all ticking over nicely. We'll see how this works out with the K1 once it gets mature. Always guaranteed to have a drum run when you're videoing something. So, got me recycle RO back in because I'd taken all that out, cleaned that out, and that's back up and running again now, 3 times a day for an hour. And there's the new connection for it. What I've done there was put an 1.5 T off the air source heat pump. It's not got quite as much pressure as the shower had because there was a greater height of water sitting on it, but there's still enough to feed the pump. And then that comes across in 15mm and goes into the pre-filters for the recycle RO. It's all back up and running. got a bit more space up here now. I'm probably going to put a couple of brackets up and then extend this shelf around there to give me a bit more storage space. But it's a lot quieter in here and a lot less flyy, as the fly paper attests to. Only got 1 or 2 flies on there. There's the bio all set up. The drawer up and running. Need to plug that. Just plug my UV back in again. Got a new tube from Coastal Koi that was, I think it was about 38 quid or something like that. It was way cheaper than the 80 odd quid they wanted elsewhere. It's all up and running again. And the pumps that are running the pond now have brought me old ET80 back out because I was having problems with the Jabal PA 45s. The one that was running the bio had actually ripped the rubber and then smashed the end of the air pump itself where the check valve is, so that is basically scrapped now. I've got 2 spares, there's one of them that are still running, but I thought I'd change back over to me ET80 and just run that for that's the air bar and the bottom drain running out there now, and I'll just use that valve there to balance the air bar, otherwise it'd all run to that and not down to the bottom drain. And then my MA100 J-Cod that was running for a while on the main pond, I brought that in now to run the bio, which you can't really see at the moment because it's not rolling, but there is a good deal of air going in there. I'll see once that media sinks how it performs. Then once it's mature, I'll start taking the K1 micro out, maybe 1 bag at a time until I've got that out, and then add another 50 litres of the K plus, and then take the second bag out. But I'll wait until all this media is well mature. I've ordered up a couple of spare bags. I mean, it's quite tough. These bags are meant for holding footballs and stuff like that for sports. I think it's either a nylon or a polyester material. But I've ordered a couple of spares, so if I've been running them for a month or 2, I'll probably change them over because I don't want them ripping open and all the media spilling into the pond. So that's it all set up then, back up and running. Soon time to get the covers out. Summer's nearly over now. Yeah, so heat pump's still keeping the pond up to a reasonable level. I think I've got it to about 18 at the minute. Yeah, it's up to 18. I'll be shutting off soon again once it goes to about 18.5. It goes to half degree above temperature and then shuts off.